Hello, future RNs. Today we're going to discuss some of your musculoskeletal system disorders, which is your arthritis. Okay, so our arthritis actually, meron kasi siyang tatlong klase, no? We have your tinatawag natin na osteoarthritis. We also have your tinatawag din natin na rheumatoid arthritis. And then lastly, we also have your gouty arthritis natin. But first thing is that we're going to discuss muna yung tinatawag natin na osteoarthritis natin. Okay, when we see osteoarthritis, from the word itself, osteo, ibig sabihin, the reason kung bakit nagkakaroon ng arthritis ng isang tao is because of the bone itself. Okay, when it comes to osteoarthritis, the other term for your osteoarthritis, tinatawag din natin siyang, okay, salat natin dito, we also call this one as your tinatawag, your degenerative joint disease. Okay, from the word itself, degenerative, ibig sabihin, it is usually being caused by aging, di ba? Kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na tawag dito, yung wear and tear theory that has been already discussed, I know for sure with your care of older adult nung first sem, no? Di ba meron tayong mga theories that supports kung bakit ang isang tao nagkakaroon ng deterioration of their system, it's because of their wear and tear theory. Okay, that is related to aging. So, yan po yung reason kung bakit nagkakaroon ng osteoarthritis ang isang tao. Okay, next naman here, okay, sa age natin, okay, it is more common with 40 to 80 years old na client natin. Particularly pagdating sa gender, more common siya sa mga kababaihan. Wherein, pagdating kasi sa osteoarthritis, okay, the onset is gradual and usually begins after the age of 40. Kaya nga sabi natin kanina, no, wear and tear, the more na ginagamit natin yung mga joints natin, the more that we are at risk to develop your osteoarthritis. Kaya mapapansin natin, okay, sino bang nagkakaroon ng OA? Usually yung mga athletes natin, okay, mga athletes in general, or yung mga merong trabaho that tawag dito that involves bearing such weight. Okay? Kasi ganun po yung reason kung bakit nagkakaroon ng osteoarthritis ang isang tao that will be discussed later on with our discussion. Okay? Ibig sabihin, pag ang onset is gradual, ibig sabihin, hindi po agad-agad na nagkakaroon ng OA ang isang tao. Okay? Pinagtitibayan ng panahon, okay? And kapag nag-start na after 40 years old ang isang tao, dyan na po lalabas. Kasi nga sabi natin, no, it is because of your wear and tear theory. Because your osteoarthritis is related to aging. So, makikita natin dito sa illustration natin, we have here a healthy joint being compared from your patients who have an osteoarthritis. Okay, sa healthy joint, okay, makikita natin dito yung mga different parts of your joints. Okay, we have here yung ating two bones. Okay, yung dalawang bones natin, yun yung tinatawag natin ng joint. Okay, pag joints kasi yan yung bones na pinagdugtong natin, di ba? And then we also have here your cartilage. Okay, have your muscles here, and then of course, hindi lang kasi nakalagay dito, meron kasing nagdudugtong, no? Yung nagdudugtong ng dalawang bones to be held together, it's your tinatawag natin na ligaments. Okay, your ligaments hold your bones together. Ngayon, okay, normal function, di ba? Meron nga tayo in your anatomy and physiology during your first year, okay, yung mga parts ng ating bones, specifically with your joints. Okay, meron tayong yung sa joint capsule natin, meron tayong fibrous capsule together with your synovium. Okay, or your synovial membrane, wherein that toothing, okay, is yung synovial membrane natin, yan po yung nagproproduce ng tinatawag natin na synovial fluid natin. Wherein, ano ba ang function ng ating synovial fluid? It helps to prevent any friction between these bones. Diba? Ngayon, kung hindi enough ang production ng ating synovial fluid by your synovial membrane, meron tayong tinatawag na cartilage dito. Yung kulay blue dito, we have your cartilage, or yung tinatawag natin hyaline cartilage natin. Where in your hyaline cartilage, that serve as what? Okay, that serves as a tinatawag natin na shock absorber. For example, tumalon ka ng napakataas, or for example, masyado kang mabigat. Okay, you're overweight, you're obese, and then of course, masyadong mataas yung pressure dyan. That's through the help of your, tinatawag natin na, through the help of your cartilage or your articular cartilage or your hyaline cartilage, natutulungan niya para i-absorb lahat ng shock or i-absorb lahat ng pressure para hindi magkaroon ng friction yung dalawang bones natin, which is your joints na tinatawag natin. Ngayon, mapapansin natin dito, class, okay, nurses, is that pagdating sa osteoarthritis natin, okay, since nasira, okay, nagkaroon ng thinning of your cartilage, nasira po yung ating cartilage here, naging manipis because of possibly, marami kasing mga risk factors so for a patient to have osteoarthritis, although the mechanism of this disorder is not actually known. Okay? But then marami tayong mga risk factors that could eventually lead parang isang tao is magkaroon ng tinatawag na OA or your osteoarthritis. Number 1 here, pag yung client natin, isulat na lang natin dito. Okay, yung client natin, ano ba yung mga factors that could eventually lead for the development of your OA? Number 1, we have your trauma. Okay, for example, in your past health history, nagkaroon ka ng trauma in your joints, for example. Aside from that one, sabi nga natin kanina, because of your wear and tear theory, possible aging. Okay? Pwedeng mag-cause yan ng, or isa sa mga risk factors for you to develop your OA. Aside from that one, we also have, sabi nga natin kanina, we have your obesity. Okay, masyado kang mabigat. Wherein, of course, mabigat ka, since yung ating mga joints, specifically your knees, your hips, sila talaga yung nagbe-bear ng weight natin. Okay, and in the long run, pag palaging ganun, hindi ka nakakapagkaroon ng weight reduction, pwedeng magkaroon ng mataas na pressure that will eventually lead to the destruction of your cartilages. Okay? Aside from that one, we also have here your genetic changes, pwedeng mamana. Okay, genetic changes. And aside from that one is your smoking. Okay, mataas ang mga risk ng mga smokers to develop your osteoarthritis. Kasi alam naman natin ang smoke, ang ating cigarette, they have a lot of contents that could potentially harm our body in general. Okay? So, ayan ngayon, sabi nga natin kanina, pag nasira po yung cartilages natin, pwedeng magkaroon ng pagkiskisan. Okay? Yung dalawang bones natin. Pag nagkaroon ng tawag dito, pag nagkiskisan yung dalawang yan because of too much pressure, that is being inserted by your by your body itself. Okay, pwede kang magkaroon ng what? Pwedeng magkaroon ng tinatawag na osteophytes. Okay, ano naman yung osteophytes natin, sir? Your osteophytes, yan po yung mga sharp edges. At itong kulay blue dito, eto po yung mga osteophytes natin. Those are your tinatawag natin na sharp edges. And then yung mga sharp edges na yun, bawat galaw ng isang tao, of course, ano mangyayari pag merong sharp edges dito? Of course, yung mga surrounding tissues dito, like for example, this one, pwede niyang maapektuhan. Wherein yung mga yung mga surrounding tissues in your joints, pwedeng magkaroon ng inflammation. Okay, aside from that one, tandaan natin that your osteophytes or yung tinatawag natin na bone spur. Okay, bone spur. Yan po yung hallmark sign ng client natin na meron kang osteoarthritis. Okay, ibig sabihin ng nurses is that pag in-x-ray natin yung client natin, okay, if your patient will undergo x-ray, makikita talaga doon na meron siyang bone spur or overgrowth ng ating mga bones because of your tinatawag natin na rubbing of your bones together. And tatandaan natin na that yung tinatawag natin na osteoarthritis is the most common form of your arthritis. Okay, don't forget that one, that your tinatawag natin na osteoarthritis, that is the most common type or form of your arthritis. Okay, so yung arthritis kasi natin, nurses, is yung OA natin or your osteoarthritis in general, it's very painful. Okay, masakit lahat ng klase ng arthritis. And also, of course, yung OA natin, napakasakit po yan. But remember, pag nagkaroon kasi in the long run ng tawag dito, nagkaroon ng nagpagkikiskisan or nagkaroon ng friction, okay, of your two bones, pwedeng magkaroon yan ng deformities na tinatawag. Okay, pag nagkaroon ng deformities, what will happen? Makikita natin later on in this illustration, okay, yung ating mga illustration dito is ang tandaan lang natin pag pag tinawag natin na osteoarthritis, yes, yung sakit itself, in general, masakit siya. Okay? Pero pagdating sa deformities natin, hindi po siya masakit. And that sets apart your osteoarthritis from the different classes or forms of your arthritis natin. Pagdating sa deformities, okay, hindi po siya masakit. Okay? So nakikita natin dito, okay, sa mga deformities pagdating sa ating mga kamay. Okay, pagdating sa mga kamay ng isang tao, pag sinabi nating Heberden's Heberden's node, okay, those are your distal. Okay, ibig sabihin ng distal, malayo. These are your distal deformities. Pag sinabi naman nating Boucher's node or Bouchard's node, anong ibig sabihin naman ng Bouchard's node? That is your proximal naman po yan na tinatawag natin na deformities. Okay? Very common, makikita talaga natin sa mga client, not only with their hands, but also with the other joints, involved joints, pwedeng magkaroon ng mga deformities. Nakadepende yan kung saan talaga yung naaapektuhan na joints natin. Okay, so now let's proceed with your diagnostics tayo. Pagdating sa diagnostics natin, nurses, of course, we have your tinatawag natin na x-ray. Of course, pag musculoskeletal talagang problem or the bone itself, talagang x-ray talaga yung kumbaga diagnostics natin na kailangang i-undergo ng client para makita natin or ma-visualize natin kung saang part or anong extent ng damage dun sa kanyang part ng bones. Okay? Of course, aside from that, we also have here your arthroscopy. Okay? From the words of arthroscopy, direct visualization of your joints. And then makikita natin dito, nurses, is that pagdating sa kanyang x-ray, together with your arthroscopy, makikita natin dito na nagkakaroon ng narrowing of space. Kasi nga sabi natin kanina, pagdating sa OA, nasisira po yung space dito. Nasisira po yung cartilage natin dito. Pag nasira ang cartilage, what will happen? Nagkakaroon ng pagkikis-kisan ng ating tinatawag na dalawang bones. Kaya nga makikita natin sa kanyang x-ray, makikita natin sa kanyang arthroscopy, is that nagkakaroon po ng maliit na space in your dun sa mismong natin, joints natin. Okay? And of course, eventually, makikita natin yung mga osteophytes na tinatawag natin or yung mga bone spurs natin. Okay? Ngayon, sabi natin pagdating sa symmetry natin, kasi makikita natin dyan, no? Dito pa nagkakaiba yung mga natin, symmetry or involvement dun sa mismong form. Okay? O klase ng arthritis natin. Pagdating sa OA kasi, nurses, remember this one, that pag sinabi nating OA or your osteoarthritis yan, they have a unilateral na involvement. Okay? I mean, unilateral na symmetry. Ibig sabihin, pag unilateral, hindi, may isang part lang. Hindi pwede, for example, the left and the right arm, or left and the right joint, knees, or left and the right fingers. Of course, dun lang sa isa ang apektado. Kasi nga, pag sinabi kasi nating OA yan, dito sa involvement natin, meron po lang siyang local involvement. Okay? And of course, aside from that one, pagdating sa mga common joints na naapektuhan ng ating tinatawag na tawag dito ng ating tinatawag na OA or your osteoarthritis, we have your weight-bearing joints. Ano ba yung mga weight-bearing joints natin? Number 1, we have your S for your spine. Next from your spine, we have your hips and then your knees natin. Ito po yung mga nagbe-bear ng weight natin kapag tayo ay nakatayo or we are engaging into different activities, okay, that involve mobility of our body, no? Ngayon, pag spine kasi ang naapektuhan, talagang masakit yan, no? Kasi pag spine yan, pwede nga makompress yung mga spinal nerves natin that will eventually lead to mga possible complications. And of course, with your hips also and your knees natin. Okay? So ngayon, pagdating sa stiffness natin, paano natin ma-determine or ano yung characteristic ng stiffness ng tinatawag natin na osteoarthritis? Number 1, we have here, less than 30 minutes po ang occurrence ang tinatawag natin na stiffness pag meron kang OA. And kailan siya nangyayari? During PM. Okay, ibig sabihin, after, during, or after an activity. Okay, pag the more na ginagamit natin yung tinatawag, ito yung pinagkaiba ha, the more na ginagamit natin yung ating tinatawag na, the more na ginagamit natin yung ating joints, what will happen? The more din na, based on our theory kanina that supports your OA, we have your wear and tear theory, the more na magkakaroon yan ng friction or rubbing together of your bones. Kaya mas nagkakaroon po ng pain yung client natin with during or after activity. Okay, yun ang tandaan nyo sa ating osteoarthritis natin. Next here, pagdating sa activity natin, of course, what we need to inform, okay, what we need to educate to our client to have always, that we have to advise them na dapat hindi sila magkaroon ng any non-weight bearing activities. Kasi sabi nga rin, the more na ginagamit natin yan, pwede ba sa kanila lang magbuhat? Okay, mag-gym, for example, magbuhat-buhat, pwede ba sa kanilang tumakbo? Of course, hindi. But, sabi nga natin kanina, nakadepende naman yan sa involvement ng joint na merong OA. For example, pag sa mismong knees talaga, definitely hindi ka pwedeng tumakbo or mag-jog. Kaya nga sabi natin, no, pag ang isang tao merong OA, ang number 1 na kailangan talaga to prevent the exacerbation or to prevent the pag-exacerbate or pag-relapse ng tinatawag natin na symptoms ng ating OA is that kailangan mo munang mag-reduce ng weight. Kasi nga sabi natin, the more na mabigat ka, the more din na mas magkakaroon ng pressure or na-exert na pressure din sa ating mga joints. Okay? So ngayon, ang pinaka-best activity, no? Actually, nurses, lumabas sa board exam namin during our time, what is the best activity for client with OA? Ang sagot dito, we have your swimming. Okay, bakit swimming, sir? Kasi pag sinabi natin swimming, aside sa, diba sabi natin yung goal natin para maiwasang magkaroon ng OA is that kailangan natin i-lose yung weight ng client natin. We have to instruct them magkaroon ng weight reduction. Kaya, ang purpose lang ng swimming is that, of course, it burns your calories without applying any pressure to your joints. Okay, yun po yung reason kaya swimming talagang pinaka-the best na activity ng tinatawag natin na client na merong OA. Pero syempre, pag swimming talagang lalangoy, hindi tatampi-tampi sa ulang na ganyan. Of course, paano ma-reduce yung pain? Or paano paano natin ma-reduce yung mga symptoms natin ng client na merong OA. Kailangan talagang mag-swim. Dapat marunong kang lumangoy. Okay, yun mo na yung requirement, syempre. Okay? Next slide here with your management. So, tandaan natin, nurses, that in your management, our focus here, or the major goal of our client who have osteoarthritis is to what? Give or pain management on optimum function ability. Yan po yung pinaka-main, pinaka-main reason kung bakit kailangan natin para ma-manage natin yung mga symptoms ng ating osteoarthritis. Okay? This is our major goal. Sulat natin dito. Okay, so ano yung mga natin dito, mga management natin. Okay, pinaghala ko na dito together with your pharmacologic management or your medical management together with your nursing management natin. Okay, number 1, we have here your application. Okay, pag for example, nagkaroon ng pain yung client natin because of your OA, tanda natin pag nagkaroon ng swelling yan, kailangan natin ng cold compress. Okay, para ma-reduce yung mismong inflammation ng ating mga joints, okay? Aside from that one, pag nagkaroon naman ng stiffness, kasi sabi nga natin kanina, nagkakaroon ng stiffness or pain yung client natin kapag nag-undergo siya ng mga activities or during or after activities or during PM period. So, nang gagawin natin, we have to apply warm compress. Okay? Kasi of course, for the rule of your vasodilation and vasoconstriction, ganun po yun. Para ma-reduce po natin yung kanyang inflammatory response ng ating mga joints due to your osteoarthritis. Next here, we have your diet, di ba? Ang diet dapat natin naka-indicate dapat dito kung ano yung mga way to manage your tawag dito or to reduce yung weight ng client natin kasi yan ang pinaka-isa sa mga focus natin to reduce the weight of your client. Okay? And of course, pagdating sa ating mga medications, number 1 here, we have your acetaminophen. Di ba yung acetaminophen natin, very common yan na gamot. Okay? In your pharmacology before, ang acetaminophen natin, gagamitin natin yan for what? Gagamitin natin yan as your initial analgesic therapy natin. And kapag hindi nag-work sa acetaminophen, we're going to result with your ASA. Para saan si ASA? This is your aspirin. Okay, ibig sabihin ng ASA, that is your acetylsalicylic acid. Okay, that is your aspirin, of course, together with your NSAIDs natin. And remember that these two medications, since they are made out of acids, ang kailangan nating tandaan dito, nurses, is that what? We have to give them PC or after meals dapat to. Because these two medications, it can cause GI distress. And aside from that one, specifically your NSAID or your aspirin itself. Ang aspirin kasi, sabi natin, nakakakos yan ng, di ba merong 4A yung aspirin natin, anti-inflammatory, anti-pyretic, analgesic together with your anti-platelets. So, nagkakos siya ng possible bleeding yan. So, we have to instruct our client with our bleeding precautions natin. Ano ba yung mga bleeding precautions natin? Okay? Dapat yung client natin hindi gumagamit yan ng mga hard bristle na toothbrush. Okay? As long na wala namang reason or any medical conditions that could cause bleeding. Okay? Yun yung mga bleeding precautions natin. Dapat kailangan mag-avoid ng mga contact sports, mga ganyan. Okay? So next here, we have your steroids. Bakit magbibigay tayo ng steroids kay client? Okay? Tandaan natin, nurses, that in your steroids, okay, this is a very powerful anti-inflammatory, no? So since nagkakaroon ng inflammation of your joints, very good ang steroids natin. But, we have to remember, nurses, that your steroids, it can also be given, ano yung mga route of administration? It can be given orally, intravenous, and of course, ito, intra-articular. Ibig sabihin dun sa mismong joints natin, itutusok yung ating medication. And remember this one, pag oral yan, or IV, dapat ibigay natin yung ating steroids via, full stomach dapat lang yan. Hindi lang, dapat after meals, dapat full stomach po natin dapat ibigay ang ating mga steroids. Okay, next tayo here, we have your COX inhibitors. Okay, di ba pag sinabi kasi natin COX inhibitors, yan yung mga gamot that ends with COX-CIB. Alam niyo yan. We have your Celecoxib, mga ganyan, or your Celebrex, pareho lang po yun ha. Your Celebrex or your Celecoxib, those are, tinatawag natin namang COX-2 inhibitors natin. Di ba yung COX natin or your cyclooxygenase, okay, yun yung parang kumbaga, nag-aano yan ng mga pain sensation natin because of your prostaglandin. Diba? Kaya yung ating prostaglandin, a chemical mediator responsible also for your pain. Okay? Kaya nga ang ating COX inhibitors, ang ginagawa niya is also considered as what? Prostaglandin synthesis inhibitors. Para hindi tayo magkaroon ng pain. So, ano yung mga klase ng gamutin? Mga gamot that ends with COX di ba? Remember that your COX inhibitors, kailangan yan ng prescription. Okay? So, we have your COX or your Celecoxib or Celebrex and of course, your Arcoxia. But remember this one, nurses, that are your Arcoxia, okay, pwedeng mag-cause yan ng increase in your BP. Pwedeng mag-cause yan ng hypertension. Yes, malakas siya, pero you have to watch out for its effect or side effects. Okay? Or adverse effect, pwede siya mag-cause ng increase in your blood pressure and of course, tendency for bleeding. Okay? Next naman here, we have your tinatawag natin na intra-articular corticosteroids naman. Okay? Your corticosteroids, sabi nga natin kanina, dapat ay binibigay natin to. Okay? Pag orally yan, we have to administer it in full stomach. Yun pala yung sinabi ko kanina dito. Okay? Dapat ay full stomach po. Dapat yan. Okay, next naman here, we have your surgery. Okay, so yung surgery natin, pag hindi nadaanin sa gamot, okay, hindi natin agapan yung ating osteoarthritis, of course, our last resort will be your surgical management. Meron lang tinatawag na arthroplasty. Okay, na bang ibig sabihin ng arthroplasty? It is indicated para kanino ba yung ating mga arthroplasty? Madami po yan, no? Para kanino ba yung ating arthroplasty? Number 1, it is indicated sa mga client na merong tinatawag natin na moderate to severe osteoarthritis. Kasi the more kasi na nag-progress ang OA natin, the more din na nai-impaired yung ating physical mobility or yung mismong functioning natin. Okay? Kasi syempre masakit yan, hindi mo na nagagawa na mabuti yung mga activities of daily living mo. That will eventually lead to impaired or disruption of your optimum level of your functioning. Okay? And of course, aside from that one, pwede din gamitin na sa mga client na merong rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, mga femoral neck fractures. Kasi remember yung femur natin, pag yan kasi, di ba, dito yung femoral neck fractures, eto yan. Pag dito kasi ang na-fracture nyo, delikado yan. Kasi nga, sabi natin yung femur natin, that is your longest bone. Siyempre, pag yung bone natin, mahaba yan, of course, it contains a lot of bone marrow, specifically the red bone marrow that produces your blood. Diba? Kasi pag nagkaroon kasi ng femoral neck fracture, pwedeng ma-impede or magkaroon ng disruption dun sa ating blood flow. Kaya pwedeng magkaroon ng avascular necrosis yan. Okay? Pwede magkaroon ka ng avascular necrosis ang itang-tawag natin. Kasi nga, pag wala ng enough na blood flow, of course, ano mangyayari? Pag na-impede ang blood flow, definitely what will happen? Okay? Mamamatay yung mga tissues natin dyan. Okay? Next, you also have your osteotomy. Diba? That is, ang sabi kasi natin, pag nag-fail yung osteotomy or the incision, okay, nagkaroon lang tayo ng parang tatanggalan mo lang ng konting natin, yung part ng affected na joints natin. That is your osteotomy. And of course, meron din tinatawag na leg calf burtels natin. So, yan po yung mga indication for your client to undergo your arthroplasty na tinatawag natin. So, ito po yung arthroplasty natin, or yung tinatawag natin for example, replacement. Okay? Sabi nga natin, ano bang function ng ating arthroplasty? That is to remove. Okay, sulat natin. I guess, hindi ba siya nakasulat dito? Okay, we have to, that is, ano bang function ng ating arthroplasty? That is to remove, okay? Removal of the disease portion. Okay, or yung nasirang parts ng joint natin. Aside from that one, ang function din nito is to replace it with a prosthesis. Okay, replacement with a prosthesis. Okay, ang problem lang dito, class, ang talagang mga client na nag-undergo ng arthroplasty is yung, kung nakadepende sa involvement kung anong joints ang nasira. Ang meron tayo is yung we have your knees and your hips. Okay, hips and your knees. Okay? Ngayon, ang tawag dito, no, yes, okay, that for the purpose of replacement, for the purpose of removal, okay, the problem here is that we have to instruct our client what? Kaya natin instruct na they can only regain 70% to 80% of their range of motion. So, hindi na po siya maibabalik sa dating range of motion ng client natin. Okay, so yun naman yung parang kumbaga downside, no? Pag napabayaan talaga natin yung ating osteoarthritis. Okay? So, we have here an illustration below. Okay, yun yung ating tinatawag natin na arthroplasty. Pag tawag dito, pag sa may hip replacement yan, okay, ito siya. Ganito yung itsura ng hip replacement natin. Okay, so, meron tayong kumbaga parang acetabular cup dito, tapos prosthesis to and then ilalagay yan sa mismong dito, sa may mismong hips natin. Pag hips ang nagkaroon ng problem or nagkaroon ng osteoarthritis. Okay, and then, meron tayong tinatawag na component na dito. Ito po yung ipapasok dun sa ating femur. Okay? And then, kapag ano naman yan, pag knees naman, okay, sa tuhod naman, excuse me yung pusa ni sir. Okay? Yung pag knees naman yan, tinatawag natin na femoral, ano natin, dito naman siya. Okay, distal component sa may knees po yan. Pag femoral proximal sa may hips, okay, pag femoral distal is sa may ano yan, sa may knees ng client natin. And of course, we also have your tibial dito. Okay, so yan po yung tinatawag natin na arthroplasty natin. Okay, next naman tayo dito. As part of our nursing intervention, dito tayo dapat mag-focus, no? Pagdating sa nursing intervention natin, yes, lumalabas po talaga sa board exam kung yung client, for example, nag-undergo siya ng total knee replacement, okay? Or your total hip replacement, lumalabas po talaga to sa board exam nurses. Okay? So, ano yung mga nursing responsibilities natin is, number 1, we have to prevent the dislocation of your prosthesis na tinatawag natin. Why? Why do we need to, why do we need to prevent dislocation? Kasi nga sabi natin prosthesis yan, artificial yan. Okay, so pag hindi natin siya naalagan, pwedeng matanggal yung ating prosthesis. That's why ang number 1 na ano natin dito is to maintain the femoral head component of your acetabular cup. For example, dito, pag sa may knees, and then of course, pag dito naman sa may hips. Okay? And aside from that one, very important talaga or very crucial talaga yung ating pag-maintain ng correct positioning at all times. Kasi nga, as nurses, it's your responsibility whenever you turn your patient, okay, or whenever you switch position to your patient, dapat you have to be very cautious. Pagdating, lalo pag yung client natin is what, naka-total knee replacement or naka-total hip replacement. Okay, very crucial ang pag-turn or pag-move ng client natin. Lalo pag nag-ambulate na yan, napaka-delikado po yan. Kaya dapat ikaw na nurse, dapat ay maingat ka. Okay? So, we have here positioning the leg in abduction. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng abduction, nurses? That is the moving away, no? Away to ha? Away. Oh, very medlo. Away from the center yan. Okay? Or median line of your body. Yan ang tinatawag natin na abduction. Abduction. Away yan. Pag adduction, towards the center or median line of your body. Yan. Bakit kailangan nating my God, sorry yung mga pusa na naman. Okay, bakit kailangan nating i-position yung leg natin in abduction? Because it will help prevent dislocation of your prosthesis. Kasi kaya makikita natin dito, gumamit po tayo ng spin, gumamit po tayo ng wedge pillow or 2 to 3 pillows kapag wala tayong wedge pillow to keep the hip abduction. Yan. Okay, ganyan po dapat yan para hindi natin mapagdikit yung ating legs. Kasi pag pinagdikit mo yan, makakaltong yan, matatanggal yung ating pag for example, sa may total hip replacement, matatanggal yung mismong prosthesis natin. Okay, next here. Okay, the patient's hip is never flex. Bakit, sir? Bakit hindi pwedeng ma-flex? Kasi pag pinag-flex mo yan, for example, pinaupo mo yan into 90 degrees, or yung mismong flex is, flex mo, for example, tinaas mo siya, pwedeng matanggal ulit yung ating tinatawag na, tawag dito na ating, yung mismong prosthesis natin. Okay, pagdating dito, kailangan talaga yung client natin, nakikita naman natin nakasupine siya, no, supine position with head is slightly, for example, ganito dapat yung position niya. Drawing na lang natin. For example, nakasupine siya and then head is slightly. Dapat mas mataas yung kanyang katawan compare dito. Hindi pwedeng like that. Matatanggal yung kanyang tinatawag na, tawag dito, matatanggal kasi yung ating, this one, prosthesis natin pag ganyan. Kaya makikita natin dito, high seat orthopedic chairs, semi-reclining wheelchairs, and raised toilet seats are used to minimize hip flexion kasi hindi pwedeng mag-flex yung kanyang hips. Diba? Ito sa yung ulo ng client, hindi pwedeng mag-ganyan. Dapat naka-extend po yan, ha? Okay, yun ang tandaan ninyo. And of course, the patient should not cross his or her legs. Kasi pag krinos mo yan, pwedeng ulit magkaroon ng flexion dun sa ating tinatawag na flexion and adduction dun sa kanyang legs. And matatanggal yung ating prosthesis dyan. And of course, tandaan natin, the patient should not bend at the waist, okay? Siyempre, for example, nakatayo ka and then nag-bend ka, di ba? Na-flex ulit, matatanggal yan. Okay? At sana yung magsasapatos ka sana. Okay? Maglalagay ka ng medyas, nag-bend si client below the waist. Pwedeng matanggal yung kanyang tinatawag na arthroplasty or yung mismong replacement ng kanyang knees or yung mismong prosthesis natin. And of course, tandaan natin ha, pag natanggal, okay, pag natanggal yung prosthesis ng client natin, anong gagawin natin? Letter A, sasayaw ng boom-boom, charot lang. Okay, pag natanggal ang prosthesis ng client natin, anong gagawin natin? Pag na-dislocate yan, the nurse or the patient, if at home, immediately notifies the surgeon. Okay, so ano ba yung mga signs that your client already, isulat muna natin ha yung mga ano natin, position that is not recommended or that is contraindicated. Okay, position, sulat natin, position by Ariana Grande. Okay, pasensya na nurses ha, ngayon na nakapag-record si sir. As in, gipit na gipit po ka sa oras. But, I'm still trying my best, okay, para magkaroon pa rin kayo ng recorded lecture. I'm very sorry, okay, to my students, okay. Pasensya na po. Meron kasi akong other responsibilities and obligations that I need to fulfill. And as much as I would like to, to also do my part in your, in your academics, medyo nagkakaroon kasi ng, medyo nako-compromise ko po yung pagtuturo. It's because we all know that we have a lot of activities this month, especially pag sa level 4 yan, we have your nursing summit, okay? Humihingi na po ako ng pasensya sa inyong lahat, ha? Okay, but then, sabi ko nga, kailangan ko pa rin mag-record for the sake na not only to pass your subject, but also for you to learn something from me. Okay? Kasi kahit hindi, kahit ngayon, hindi mo appreciate yung pagtuturo ni sir, it's okay. Okay? That's not my, I will not going to use that against you. Kasi nga, I know for sure I did my very part, okay? And alam kong yung ginagawa ni sir, okay, naging MMK tuloy, no? Alam ko makakatulong na in the near future, okay? So ngayon, Echosera, ang dami-daming ebas, okay? Ayun, dito tayo sa ating position. Ano ba yung mga bawal na position? Sabi natin, bawal ang internal rotation. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng internal rotation? Sabi nga natin kanina, no? Pag for example, na ito ka sana, tapos ito yung paa mo, and then pinaloob mo siya, o di ba pag nag-cross ka ng legs, nagkakaroon ng internal rotation or ganun nga. Aside from that one, for example, possible din external rotation, bawal po yan ha. Kasi pag nagkaroon ng external or internal rotation man yan, pwedeng matanggal talaga yung prosthesis natin. And of course, hyperextension as well. Okay, dapat extend lang. Okay, hindi hyperextension. And of course, acute flexion or biglaan mong flex yung iyong lower extremities. Okay, so dito tayo. Pag for example na dislodge accidentally yung ating prosthesis, anong gagawin natin? Okay, wag po tayong magpanic, ha? Ano ba yung mga signs and symptoms na possible na nagkaroon ng dislocation yung ating tinatawag natin na prosthesis number 1? Pag biglang umaray yung client natin, nagkaroon ng increase or sudden pain. Okay, sudden pain, biglang nag-inflame or nag-swell yung ating affected part, and of course, hindi na maigalaw. Okay, nagkaroon ng immobilization, possible yan na natanggal yung kanyang proseso. So, huwag ka na magpatumpik-tumpik pa. Kundi i-report mo yan agad or i-notify mo na agad yan sa ating surgeon kapag ganyan. So, next, kaya kailangan sabi ko sa inyo, dapat magali. Kaya masaya mag-ortho, no? I do hope this lecture will help you, no? Pag nagkaroon na kayo ng, ng duty sa POC, pag nagkaroon kayo ng Manila affiliation, pag magmamanila Afi ka man, yes, in Jesus' name. Kung sino ka man na nanonood ngayon, magmamanila Afi ka, so gawin mo ang part mo sa MS, okay? It's not yet late. Charot, late na. Finals na be. Okay? Anyway, depende yan. Kung magre-remedial, go. Okay? Ano pa? Pag nagkaroon siya ng acute groin pain at the affected hip. Okay? For example, pag total hip replacement to, dun sa kanyang groin or dun sa kanyang singit, biglang sumakit. Possible na natanggal yung ayong prosthesis. Next, number 3. Biglang nagkaroon ng shortening, biglang lumiit yung kanyang limbs, okay? Ibig sabihin nun, of course, natanggal na-dislocate na pag biglang na tawag dito, biglang lumiit, okay? Hindi na sila pantay dun sa other unaffected or the unaffected part ng kanyang hips, okay? Or unaffected side, okay? Number 4, pag siya ay nagkaroon ng abnormal, okay, AB, external or internal rotation. Okay, biglang, nagugulat ka, pwede mo na siyang i-rotate externally and rotationally. Okay? And then aside from that one, eto ha, tandaan niyo pag nagkaroon siya ng popping sound. Okay, pop by na yun. Charot na yun, charot lang. Okay, pag nagkaroon siya ng popping sound in the hip. Possible that those are signs and symptoms na nagkaroon na po ng dislocation. Okay, so next naman tayo here. Kaya nga, sabi natin kanina, very immediate to ha. Kailangan natin i-notify agad yung ating surgeon pag any of the signs and symptoms of your dislocation is happened already, okay? Next tayo here with your monitoring wound drainage, okay? Remember that, syempre, surgery yan, nag-open tayo ng parts ng katawan ng tao, lalo buto po yan, di ba? So, dapat talaga, normal talaga na magkakaroon ng bleeding yan, okay? That's why we have to monitor for the drainage or wound drainage post-operatively, okay? dapat ang normal drainage lang natin dapat is 200 to 500 ml in the first hours is expected. Okay? Aside from that one, no, tawag dito, wait lang. Okay? Remember this, nurses, ha, that your surgical site, syempre open yan, na part ng katawan, pwedeng mag-harbor or magkaroon yan ng source of your infection, no? Yun ang nakakatakot, syempre. So, the more kasi no yung drainage natin, hindi mo siya na-monitor, okay? Hindi mo monitor yung wound drainage ng client natin. So, anong mangyayari dyan, nurses? Pwedeng, pag the more na naka-remain in place for longer than 24 hours, okay? Longer than 24 hours, yung ating tinatawag na drainage, what will happen? That will predispose your client for higher risk, okay, for contamination and of course, infection. Kaya from time to time talaga, lalo pag post-operatively yung client natin, during the first 24 hours, dapat na monitor talaga yun ng mabuti. Okay? So, the nurse promptly notifies the physician of any drainage volume greater than anticipated. Kasi, pag for example, more than 500 ml, yung umabot ng 1,000 ml, 1,000 1 liter, okay, that indicates possible hemorrhage already. Or, pwedeng magkaroon niya ng that will progress into shock. Okay? So, next I here with your preventing your deep vein thrombosis natin. Okay, so when it comes here, syempre, naka-immobilize yung client natin pag post-operatively. Yan, hindi agad-agad talagang yung full-blown na mobilization or ambulation, no? So, talaga yung client natin, at least to develop your VTE. Ano ba yung mga VTE natin or yung mga venous, nakalimutan ko tuloy, mga venous thromboembolism. I'm not so sure, pero parang ganon, okay? Example kasi nun is your deep vein thrombosis or your, tawag ito, DVT natin, okay? No, na-discuss sa maternal, na-discuss sa peri-op ninyo before, okay? So, ngayon, ang tawag ito, ang talagang number 1 na natin dito to prevent your DVT, ano ba yung mga symptoms ng DVT that we need to watch out, diba? Yan ang kailangan nating tandaan. Number 1, we have your pain. Pag nagkaroon kasi ng pain and tenderness yan, dun sa mismong dun sa mismong area or below the area, okay? Or dun sa mismong clot formation niya, okay? Possible DVT yan. Aside from that one, nagkakaroon ng swelling or tightness. Sana all masikip, okay? And of course, pag the first nagkaroon ng clotting, nagkaroon ng yan, pwedeng magkaroon yan ng inflammation that will lead to what? Possible magkaroon yan ng ng mga pitting edema, mga ganyan. Diba? Alam yung ibig sabihin ng pitting edema. Diba? For example, merong namamanasas pag pag pinalpate mo yan, hindi na siya bumabalik sa dati. Ano pa? Pwede siyang magkaroon ng mga tawag dito, mga warm and cooling sensation dun sa mismong area. And of course, possible skin discoloration dahil dun sa mismong clot formation na yan. Okay? So, yan yung mga ating, nandito pala, okay? Mga sign ng DVT, calf pain, swelling, and tenderness. Okay? So, anong gagawin natin dyan is that, okay, aside sa medications, of course, hindi muna medications yan. Kailangan muna ng anti-embolism stockings natin para ma-prevent natin yung DVT na yan. And of course, we also have here yung tinatawag natin na na mga medications natin. Ano yung mga medications natin? Okay, we have your Fondaparinux or your Arixtra, okay? Example to ng mga natin, tawag dito, mga gamot, okay? That could actually prevent your DVT natin. And of course, yung mga low molecular weight heparin natin, di ba? Pag heparin yan, anticoagulants yung mga yan, di ba? So, ano yung mga example ng low LMW heparin natin? We have your enoxaparin, very common yan. Your dalteparin. Okay, remember kasi bakit nagiging delikado ang deep vein thrombosis. Okay, remember, pag ang deep vein thrombosis nag-progress, for example, bigla siyang gumalaw, okay, nagkaroon siya ng ambulation or mobility, pwedeng ma-dislodge yung tinatawag natin na clot formation. Pag na-dislodge siya, anong mangyayari? Pwedeng mag-travel yan into different parts of your body. What if sa lungs yan pumunta? Pwede siya magkaroon ng PE. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng PE? Pulmonary embolism. Diba? Pag nagkaroon yan ng pulmonary embolism, ano ba yung mga symptoms that you need to watch out? We have your number 1. Pwede siyang magkaroon ng what? Pwede siyang magkaroon ng tinatawag na dyspnea or acute onset ng dyspnea o difficulty of breathing. Acute siya. Bigla-biglaan. Like, for example, na-assess mo na meron pala siyang DVT, tapos bigla siyang gumalaw, and then nagulat ka nung bumalik ka sa client mo, bigla hindi na siya nakakahinga. Possible yan ang symptom ng pulmonary embolism. Ano pa, of course, to compensate that one, pwede siyang magkaroon ng increased heart rate or yung tinatawag natin na tachycardia, of course, confusion, and pleuritic chest pain. Okay? So, yan. So, yan po yung mga reason kung bakit kailangan natin i-avoid ang deep vein thrombosis natin. Ngayon, pagdating sa ating mga medications, yes, para ma-prevent natin ang DVT, magbibigay tayo ng mga anticoagulants natin. Ngayon, anticoagulants yan. Ano naman ang mangyayari? Magiging mas mataas ulit yung risk niya or chance niya para magkaroon ng bleeding. Kasi nga blood thinners yan pampanipis ng ng mga blood natin. So, pag nasugatan yung client natin, pag hindi tayo nag-ano ng mga bleeding precautions natin, pwede siya magkaroon ng bleeding. Okay? So last here is to prevent what? To prevent your kinatawag natin na infection. Okay? Kasi nga sabi natin yung ating surgical site, that is a potential source, okay, of your infection. And of course, automatically naman, most of our clients to undergo surgery, talagang nagbibigay talaga tayo ng antibiotic for what? For prophylaxis purposes. Okay? And of course, ano pa nakalagay dito? Severe infections may require surgical debridement, okay? Or removal of your prosthesis. And if an infection occurs, antibiotics are prescribed. Depende naman kung anong klase ng bacteria yung nag-invade dun sa ating tawag dito or involved dun sa ating surgical site. Okay? So, yan po yung mga nursing responsibilities natin for client who will undergo arthroplasty. Okay, so that ends for our discussion with your tinatawag natin na osteoarthritis. We will have a separate video lecture para hindi kasi kayo ma-overwhelm pag dinediretso ko kasi itong from RA to Gouty. Masyado siyang mahaba. Okay, so thank you. Okay.